We're back.
Welcome
Last
back.
call.
Yep.
The fun part.
Monday afternoon roundtable, last call. What we got today, Jason?
We got Big House. It's a bourbon out of Louisville, Kentucky. I thought we were going to do Larceny, but we're going to do Big House. Set out of Louisville, Kentucky. 90 proof?
90 proof.
Yep. So batch number 004. I've never had it. Have you guys had it?
Mm-hmm. But it's kind of on the same concept of the prison, Big House.
Yeah.
Isn't that what it's supposed to be?
Yeah.
Got a ball and chain there on it. Aged in American oak. So we're going to try it. Smells good.
We're in the league championship series now, right?
Yeah. The Yankees were up 2-0, won last night, and the Dodgers and the Mets are tied 1 game apiece.
And you're a Dodgers fan, right?
I'm a Yankees fan, but I'm pulling for the Dodgers too. I'd like to see them. I like them too. The older teams. I like all of it. I wouldn't mind Cleveland.
And our NFL teams are still in the or in the playoffs, in the running. I guess most of them.
Washington's doing well. Carolina sucks.
Big time.
Steelers is doing okay, aren't they?
Mhm.
Yeah, so anyhow, all right. Let's just try this. See what you think.
Big House. It's got a decent bite.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing real strong.
It's kind of smooth, I thought, but I mean, it lets you know it's there.
It's always crafted in small batches. That's a good thing. Oak barrel.
Well, I would. How much did you pay for it? That's what we always want to know.
I don't remember.
Okay.
I started buying them back when we were more active with the podcast. I can't remember what I paid for it.
I would buy a bottle of that. That's not bad. Politics. It's coming on fast. Let's see,
20 days.
Well,
voting
they
starts
start tomorrow
Yeah.
in North
Early
Carolina.
voting does. Early voting's already started in Georgia. Last night they broke the U.S. record of the most people voting on early voting day. 300,000 people voted in Georgia.
And one of them was 100-year-old former President Jimmy Carter, they
Jimmy
said.
Carter.
Boo.
He got his wish and got to vote. But 300,000 people first day of early voting is unheard of.
Now, when will they start counting the early votes?
Can't-
After election?
Yeah, you can't start counting. You can count numbers, but you can't count
Results.
Right.
You can count how many voted, but you can't count how they voted. Okay. I
Right.
see. Okay.
Can't open the ballot till after the polls have closed.
Purchased a new book yesterday called, and I'm sure all of you heard about it. It's called War by Woodward and Bernstein back in the Watergate days. I've just started it, and so I'm looking forward to reading it. And after I get through, you guys be happy to read it. But I always liked Bob Woodward in the fact that how he and Bernstein were able to get inside that Watergate issue back in the early 70s. Without them, I don't think that the Watergate would have ever. There's a controversy about that they really weren't responsible for breaking Watergate, but they were responsible for identifying the people involved,
Bringing it to light.
in the money scam, in the money
Follow the money.
that after the Watergate break-in, and that's exactly what they did. But what always amazed me was the confidential informant. And they called him Deep Throat. He was Bob Woodward's confidential
He
informant.
was an FBI agent, wasn't he?
He was, but he wasn't identified until 2004 or 5, something like that. He was many years afterwards, and he pretty much on his deathbed told that he was Deep Throat. But he didn't. There was a little bit of issue that he may have been the individual, and he always denied it because there was a little bit of connection between Bob Woodward and the informant, but he in fact said he was. So I recommend the book. Again, I haven't finished reading it, but the first part of it's starting out pretty good. And it's not it's not about Trump or it's not about Biden, but it is about all those individuals dealing with all the wars that are going on now in Ukraine, the Israeli conflict that's going on. And it's just well written, and he's just a great author. So I'm looking forward to it.
What was Bob's partner in the
Bernstein,
Carl Bernstein.
Carl.
he gave Carl credit in the old days, in the early 70s. He said he was an established reporter when Bob came on the picture, and he said, never interview somebody over the phone. Never,
Right.
ever. He
Right.
said, go knock on doors and talk to them face to face.
Right.
And that was the old-timey way of doing real reporting.
And that's advice can be used for investigative work as well.
Absolutely.
And Woodward and Bernstein really weren't that good of friends, like Tim said, when it first started, and they got kind of thrown into this case, and they became pretty much best friends. But when they wrote the book, All the President's Men, which I found interesting, they went to Bob Woodward's mom's house in Naples, Florida, and wrote the book. And said Bernstein would go outside and sit beside the pool, and Bob Woodward would sit inside and write. Said the rule was they had to write 10 pages a day each before they could go out drinking and having dinner. So I thought that was pretty neat how they, and the book was, and then they made the movie,
Yeah.
All the President's Men, which was a hit back in '76, I think it was.
Speaking of politics, everybody go vote.
Right? I mean,
Everybody.
that's your duty as a
If you're
citizen.
registered to vote, go vote.
And I'm afraid a lot of people aren't going to vote. And speaking to one of our friends this week, she said her son wasn't going to vote. And I get that. I mean, I understand their concept that they don't maybe like either candidate, but the way she described it, it is important that he did vote.
And
she's
he wa-
stressing that he would.
He was a normal voter. What I mean by that, an active voter,
Right.
not a somebody that's never voted before.
Right.
Yeah.
Go vote. There's more issues. There's more people on the ballot than just the presidential race. We have a big ballot this time, and in North Carolina, we have a Constitution amendment that we definitely need to vote on. And my opinion, vote no on it.
Explain it. What is it?
That if you're eligible to vote, but not, in their eyes, sane or anything, they can take your vote away.
Oh.
We do not want that amendment changed.
Based on the discretion of the whom?
That's
That's
the biggest
yeah, that's
question.
not
There's no
said.
whom. It's, I guess, whoever's in charge of the Board of Elections.
That's
So
scary.
we do not want that to pass.
In one of the joining counties, there's a vote about the school board becoming a political position in voting. In other words, there'd be a Democrat candidate and Republican candidates. They have to identify their politics, and that's a yes and no vote over there, which I don't think that should be.
Well,
A
you know, the
political-
judges used to be that way.
Right.
I would go even further and say in any local, whether it's county commissioner, city council, mayor, it should be you're not party affiliated. You know, you can be registered with the party, but it shouldn't be whatever how the terminology is, partisan or whatever it should be.
We've said it and said it and said it. If we're a two-party system in this country, and soon to be, I would say, a 3 or 4 party system, but all parties have to work together or nothing's going to get accomplished.
Well, that's where we are now.
Yes, we're in a stalemate. We're just stuck. Our Congress hadn't passed anything in years meaningful.
And the General Assembly in North Carolina is similar.
Pitiful.
Well, and there's a rule of thumb: you should never talk politics or religion while you're drinking. So we violated at least one of those codes.
We haven't said names or numbers.
But you know who we meant, right?
I hope.
I'll tell you who sucks, and I'm gonna mention the name. Mark Robinson sucks. Sorry, I'll go back.
I don't think Mark Robinson's going to hear the gun go off, is my prediction, based on his history and his past and some of the remarks.
I think the
that he's
latest
made.
poll on North Carolina governor's race is Stein's up by 17 points.
That's huge.
So I hope that continues. We do not need Mark Robinson.
No,
Well, and North Carolina's still, I guess, considered a swing state.
No,
Is it not?
maybe purple.
Well, yeah, but they're spending a lot of money here
they are.
on that race, and with the presidential race going on this year, that's why there's just so much money being spent, which is good, I guess is a good thing.
Yeah.
So, but I'll be glad when it's over.
Yeah.
Just so you know. What are your predictions on the election as far as the presidential? And I know that's putting you on the spot. And without giving a prediction of who's going to win, are you concerned about the election in any way?
Yes.
Very,
Yeah, so am I.
very.
And that's sad.
It's going to be a very tight race. It's going to be down to the wire. I just hope when the election's over with that everybody accepts the results, good, bad, or ugly. That's our civic duty.
Well, I'll make my Atlantic City, Las Vegas bet right now that Donald Trump will not accept the vote.
He will
if,
not.
if
Never
the
has.
election,
Never
if he
will.
loses. And that's what this book, a little bit about the book, about how he does his business. He always, if someone doesn't agree with him, just keep fighting it until they do believe it. And that's pretty much where we are.
But
with the
how
election.
has the system that we've had, the experiment they talk about for over 200 and almost 250 years, how has it never failed till now, according to Trump? Like it's, you know what I'm saying? We've never had.
Well, it's because we've never had a candidate like him before, is in my opinion. And he's brought out a lot of the hatred and bigotry and all the other things that go along with Donald Trump's philosophy about politics and how he conducts himself personally and professionally.
I really do. But we can possibly do this before the election or wait till after the election. I think we need to get a Trump supporter on here, not like where we're screaming at each other. I just, my thing is, I just don't understand. I don't comprehend the popularity, and he's huge. He's one of the most popular candidates ever.
I think one of his voters may be just coming in. I just pulled his truck in there. You see?
Dan was right. All right, let's do a little. Let's rate this Big House straight bourbon whiskey.
We do a 1 to 10 rating, 1 being terrible, never drink it again, 10 being the best it's ever been. So, Jason, what score do you give it?
I'm gonna give it a solid 8. It's very good. It's not knock you off your seat great, but it's very. I would drink it regularly. I mean, I don't, but it's not one that I just absolutely love. But it's quality. It's well rounded. Everything was good about it. I think it's solid.
I agree. I'm gonna give it a high 7.
And I'll go with a 7 as well. I think it's not bad, like you said, and I would buy it at the store, and I think it's going to add to our collection we have back here. But and when we looked at it, I said, well, we haven't tried that, so let's give it a shot and see what we think. So, 7.5 is probably the average score there, so that's not bad on a 1 to 10. So, appreciate everyone joining us. Anything else before we close out?
Glad we're back.
Yeah, I am too.
And like, share, subscribe. Shoot us some topics that you want us to talk about. We don't want to. We're going to talk politics, but we don't. We're open to anything. Talking.
Absolutely.
I mean, we're open to other opinions. We're welcoming to anybody. Anybody that wants to come on and partake with us. Talk, shoot the breeze, whatever you want to.
Well,
And the 2 separate episodes, we're going to have more or less talk business on the round table, and we'll talk sports, weather, politics, neighborly on the last call. So we're going to separate the 2, but watch both of them.
sounds good. Well, I appreciate everyone joining us today, and I hope to see you again soon.
Thank you.
Thank you.